Are you ready for some more Netflix generic slop? Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review for Fear Street Prom Queen. Now there's not going to be any spoilers in this review guys, so if you haven't seen the movie, don't worry about it, there's not going to be any spoilers here. If you have seen the movie though, then that's fine. Set in 1988, a mysterious maniac is going around killing off potential prom queens one by one. I had mixed feelings on the Fear Street trilogy when it came out a couple of years ago, with the 1978 one, I think that was the second one, being the only really good one in that trilogy. The other two I didn't really like, so when I heard that Prom Queen was coming out, I thought I would give it a chance because I kinda did like the 1978 one. Firstly, the aesthetic of this movie was beautiful. It was very 1988. The score was also stunning. It felt like It Follows. It almost feels like Disaster Piece done the score for Prom Queen. I haven't checked that, so maybe they did, but it did feel like a very 1980s score. The soundtrack too, that was very predictable. I feel like the songs that they chose are songs that you hear time and time again with movies that are set in the late 80s. However, I did enjoy the soundtrack. And also the costume design, again, that was perfect. You look at all the characters, the hairstyles and stuff, it was all on point. But sadly guys, this is where the positives end. The movie may look like it was set in 1988. However, the characters certainly didn't feel like they were in 1988. So this is where a lot of modern horror movies that are set in the past fail. You get this look and aesthetic of a really good looking 1980s horror movie that's made in the modern day. And what they do is they give you this modern feel with the modern characters, the modern dialogue and the modern script, and it doesn't fit the aesthetic that they're put these characters into. So you've got a kind of mishmash of modern characters in this old-fashioned 1980s movie, and it doesn't work. Now, I'm not looking for a David Fincher's Zodiac level of authenticity when it comes to having that look and feel, and even the characters' movements and script, etc., being part of the era that it's set in. I know that they're not going to get that with a movie like Netflix's Prom Queen, but I would expect Andy Muschietti's It level of authenticity when it comes to having a movie set in the 80s and the characters feeling like they are there in the 80s. None of the characters were likeable. I didn't care who lived or who died. There was one character, the main character Laurie, who she had an interesting backstory. We got a little bit about her backstory throughout the movie, but they didn't really go into it as much for us to even go, oh, I wonder what happened there. Because they didn't mention it too much and they didn't care about it, then why should we? The pacing was decent, the kills were also pretty good and inventive, but it all led to a nothing burger of a story. I also don't know who this movie was catered for, and what I mean by that is you're getting a lot of blood and gore, you're getting a few sexual words, etc. That's more catered for a mature audience, but then you've got these characters that act and do things like a 10-year-old would understand or a 10-year-old would enjoy, and that's what it feels like. It feels like a children's movie but with themes in it that children can't watch, and then you've got these themes that adults can watch, but the characters and the script and the dialogue, it's just like something from a Disney Channel original. And to be honest, I don't even think the makers of this movie knew who they were really catering for. We get a very predictable killer reveal at the end. Don't worry, I won't spoil who the killer was, but we get a very predictable killer reveal at the end, one that you can easily guess within the first 10 minutes of the movie, and I am not joking. As soon as I saw a specific scene in the film, I'm like, okay. And then when it happened at the end, I'm like, okay. I will say though, one last positive that I forgot to mention was the killer's costume. The killer's costume was actually pretty good. If you're a die-hard Fear Street trilogy fan from the movies a few years ago, I think you might find some enjoyment out of this film because it has got that feel about it of the first three movies. But if you're into like decent horror movies, then I don't really think this movie's for you. If you like your 80s horror movies or movies that are set in the 80s, then I think you will pick out the same things as I do when it comes to the negatives. The great aesthetic and soundtrack just can't hide the stench of a really badly written script. So if you've seen this movie, guys, what are your thoughts on it? How does it rank up with the first 3 Fear Street movies? Is it any better or is it worse? Leave your comments and opinions down below, guys. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.
Meeting adjourned.
I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat?
Someone's in the back!